If you guys are just tuning in, we are doing a giveaway with Kansai wheels. So you're gonna have a link below for you to get a chance to enter in a free set of wheels for you guys. The dope, wait, no, wrong. The dope isn't shirt, the shirt is dope. But if you guys are interested in getting a part of this month's giveaway, check the description below. Peace. Hey guys, what's going on? Last year we did a video where we got to talk about the top multi-piece wheels of 2018, and it was a pretty good time, except for the fact that I feel like they weren't totally exactly what I thought it was going to become. I just didn't think, we look back now and they're like, there's some cool wheels in there, but I don't think many of them hit as much as I thought they were gonna hit, and it left me in a dilemma. And I thought to myself, I'm going to redeem myself with another video that I will probably regret in a year, because we're gonna talk about it again, except for 2019. And so I'm gonna bring it up with wheel number 1 first, which you guys are actually gonna be surprised to hear. First multi-piece wheel that we think is gonna make headways in 2019 is the XXR Fat 57.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's actually get into the top 5 multi-piece wheels that I think are gonna drum up a whole bunch of like storms and waves like Gels' hair and like just attention. And the Instagram I think is gonna like this list. So let's just get right into it. Number 5 is a wheel that you probably haven't heard much of yet, and that's the Brixton Forged PF5. Now that's the Targa series model. It's a multi-spoke bespoke style design. So Brixton Forged specializes in a very specific market. Their biggest thing is having unlimited milling times. They're gonna have these very custom colors, and at the same time, they're a very unique design. So if you guys didn't know, it's very hard to create original wheels now because there's so many different designs out there. When you really break it down, you're probably gonna see 4 or 5 brands make very similar wheels. And Brixton Forged is very, very specific in the way that they build and design their wheels so that it just doesn't really look like a whole lot else. And this series is one of probably my favorite series coming from the Brixton Forged lineup. Now, if you guys don't care about your wallets or like your tax returns, or maybe you put like 0 as your exception on all of your tax returns and you made like 200,000 last year, you'd probably be able to pick up a set with your tax returns, because a set for these are going to run you right around $8,000 to $12,000. Now, if you want the Diamag carbon fiber barrel that you can come with it as an optional add-on, you're probably looking at spending right around $16,000. I don't know why. I truly, I mean, we could talk about the APP forgings, we could talk about the fact that Lamborghini uses the same forgings in their wheels, we could talk about all of that, but we already did, because we visited them at SEMA last year and it was actually a pretty good time. The coolest thing that I like about this wheel is the fact that it's a double 5-spoke, but it has a very unique twist to it. So what makes it so unique is that it's like a delayed directional style wheel. And if you look at it close up, you'll actually be able to see it. But it's a very minimalistic design. And the point of the design is really to help capture the authenticity of an aggressive style wheel without drawing too much attention to itself, and kind of keeping the whole formula of what makes a Lamborghini look so sharp but not overly aggressive, kind of in cue with the wheels that you put on it. So a lot of times people will go overly aggressive with wheels on a soft car, or they'll go way too soft on an aggressive car. And I think the PF5 nails it when it comes down to being installed on certain aggressive, high-end, luxury, automotive supercars, which is like 0.002 of the percentage of people that watch these videos. I think there's like maybe 2. And if you are, hello, if you'd like to pick up some, we're not even gonna do a sales plug on those wheels. If you guys follow the wheel industry, that you know that there's probably a brand out there on Instagram that's been kind of very active, and everybody will share their wheels on Instagram. They'll share them on their story, they share them on their feed, yet when it really comes down to it, you've never actually seen the wheel in person unless you were at SEMA or at Slammed Enough, which I think they were at regarding the week. And after SEMA, they'll probably correct us in the comments, but number 4 goes out to 7K with the Nika S style wheel. Now, again, if you're on Instagram, you probably know the wheel, and if you're not on Instagram, you probably don't. It's a flower design wheel that looks extremely cool. It's just so neat in terms of what it is. Now, 7K is a new brand as well, and a lot of the brands that we talk about today are gonna be relatively a little bit newer. But what makes the wheels so cool is the fact that it's definitely meant to capture a very low offset, aggressive, big lip style show wheel. And there's really no function to the design to it other than the fact that it looks just cool as shit. The flower design actually is a floating spoke style, and you'll be able to see it. We'll show pictures, and it really looks crazy cool on certain cars. Now the problem is that because it's such an interesting design, it's not gonna sit well on every single car. We usually would probably see a Nika S go on something like a wide body FRS or a BRZ, or something that's really trying to capture a unique style. There's not a whole lot of Nika S's out there, and actually 7K is releasing new wheels continuously since SEMA 2018, and I feel like you're gonna see them get talked about more and more often as we go into 2019, because they're just a cool group of guys that like making cool wheels, and really that's all that they care about, which is good because they're honest about themselves. They're not trying to be anything more than just a cool ass wheel brand, and I dig that. Number 3 is the wheel that is just like the wheel. So when you talk about multi-piece wheels, when you talk about what should you buy, and this is like your first finger toe thing into the pool, what you're gonna end up buying is what everybody tells you to buy, and there's a reason that they tell you to buy it, because it's a good wheel. We are talking about the Workmeister S1 3P. The Workmeister is a wheel that just works. It is the Red Lobster of wheels. You are always gonna go and you're always gonna just be happy with what you're getting. I don't think I've ever been to a Red Lobster and I've been like, God, those cheddar biscuits were terrible. You know, like the coffee is bad, or like the lobster is bad. I've never had lobster at Red Lobster, okay? I get the spicy fettuccine Alfredo because that's what a good person would do at $16. Bill under $50 there one time for a date. It was a good time because kept the bill under $50. Here. Anyway, the Workmeister 3-piece is just like the wheel. It's the traditional wheel that holds the standard of getting a great multi-piece style wheel. It's a bent 5-spoke design wheel that you can pretty much put on absolutely anything. You will see that wheel on aggressive cars. You will see that wheel on curvy cars like Porsches. You'll see it on 370Zs, FRSs, BRZs. Pretty much everything that you could possibly imagine the Workmeister works extremely well on. You'll see it on Evos. You'll see it on everything you could possibly imagine, because it's just a good wheel. It's a great wheel for a great price when you're actually looking at multi-piece wheels. One of the crazy things about the Workmeister design is that you can actually get it in different sizings lower than your typical forging sizes. You can get that, I believe, the 2-piece forge can come down to even like a 15 or a 16 inch, which is great for retro style wheels. And when you really break it down, when you go into the older wheel market and a lot of old Japanese cars, you need the smaller forgings, which not a lot of companies do right now. So the Workmeister takes place number 3 because we all know that wheel. It's like the traditional wheel. It's like going to grandma's house because you know that you're gonna get a good meal, you're gonna get some nice cookies, you're probably gonna get slipped a 20, and then you're gonna be on your merry way, because that's just how grandma does it. I'm gonna be that grandma. Except, I mean, I don't think we'll ever make a list about multi-piece wheels that doesn't have some sort of Rotiform in it. And when you really go down into like the weeds about Rotiform, one of the greatest things about them is the fact that they have designs for every platform, for every year, make, and model, for every type of car you could possibly imagine, in every conceivable finish. You go on their website and you go to their gallery, and it's like it's like a kid at a candy shop. There is something for everyone in that whole realm of wheels. And for us, may not be probably the most popular wheel design, but definitely one that we think is gonna start taking off, is the Rotiform CVT. It's a 10-spoke shark fin style directional wheel that looks absolutely killer, especially in the darker color palettes. One of the greatest things about the Rotiform CVT is that it puts a new twist on the heavy blocky style wheel design. So if you guys didn't know, the CCV and other very blocky style wheels they look good, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of depth to them, and as a result, you can actually get a very flat, plain wheel when you thought it was gonna be a very aggressive wheel on your car because you went with a bright color. The CVT answers that by putting a lot more design and directional cues into the multi-spoke style design to help give it more features so that you can actually see it when it's rolling down the road or when it's staying stationary. And it's probably actually a very cool wheel that I think would look good on just about anything. If you're more of a fan of the blocky style, the CVT takes the number 2 spot for us. Number 1 is not a 3-piece forged wheel. Number 1 is something that we just decided to just talk about. Because, I mean, it's a YouTube page. We can kind of do whatever we want. I mean, we can't because lawyers get mad and then we have to sell you wheels, tires, suspension at fitmentindustries.com. If we say something mean, if we say something wrong, then we got to go through the whole thing, and I just don't want to do it. So anyway, We are doing this one because we think it's very interesting. You can let us know in the comment section below if you agree, but number one goes out to the two-piece forged design from Kansai, the KMP. Now, Kansai is a newer brand, and it's something that doesn't have a whole lot of thrust behind it. It's 4 designs that they've released. They're going into more designs, but what makes the KMP so cool is not necessarily the wheel design itself, but the history behind Kansai and their plans go into the market. So if you guys didn't know, we did a big video on Kansai way back SEMA 2018, which was a whole 4 months ago, which actually feels like 3 years. And they talked to us about the KMP and the history that they were trying to get into, which was more of like a JDM style, true, authentic market, but with a modern twist. And that actually sounds a lot of the story of Rotiform. And the KMP is probably the most requested wheel that we get asked behind us whenever we shoot in front of this wheel wall. Everybody's like, hey, what's the bronze one in the corner, the 5-spoke that looks like Patrick? That's the KMP, but it's the one-piece cast variant that they have, but they are coming out with two-piece forged. Now, one thing that makes it interesting is the fact that two-piece forged seems to be kind of making more of a run. In the past, it was all about 3-spoke multi-piece design versus a two-piece forged design, and what we're seeing is there are a couple people going back to the two-piece forged because they like it a little bit more. And when you look at the KMP, it looks absolutely sexcellent in a two-piece forged design because of just the way that it is. The Kansai KMP is one of those designs that we really like because it's very simple in nature, and you could say that it looks like other wheels, which is true, but at the end of the day, which I'm going to say even though everybody's going to get mad, it has its own styling cues to make it just a little bit different. And the roots of the wheel and the roots of the company are what make it so interesting. The fact that they went to SEMA with a 240SX in their booth versus like everybody else showing up with Lamborghinis and McLarens, to me is just absolutely f***ing awesome. I mean, these guys are going out and test fitting their wheels in like parking lots and going to drift shows and going to like autocross things to make sure that their wheels run. They're just involved in the community, and to what it kind of reminds us of is like when you're really good friend that happens to be a really good mechanic that always like takes care of you and makes sure that your car's running right, and they're always up to like tow your car because it breaks every single week. Like that like friend that you've always had that just is always there for your car. Like in the wheel community, it seems like Kansai is becoming that brand because they have such a history of just kind of being involved. So it's super cool to see the hustle that they're going into, and the KMP is just a sexy wheel on top of it, which puts it in the #1 spot of some of the top wheels, especially that go into the multi-piece category, that we think are gonna take the cake for this year. So let us know in the comment section below as to what you think are gonna be the top 5 wheels for 2019, multi-piece or not. I wish you the best of luck. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and if you're looking for wheels, tires, suspension, check out fitmentindustries.com. If you got that tax return, you know where to spend it. You know, what up, chicken butt? Because then what I can do is that, and you guys spend your tax returns, you know, I don't have to get the ramen anymore. I can go and get the Chef Boyardee, which is like delicious. It's like 72% salt for daily intake, and like that's all I need is salt. I don't even need calories or anything, fat. Give me the Chef Boyardee and a little bit of chicken noodle soup and I'm a happy man, but I will see you later. Peace.